He often reveals it to you in small, quiet ways first. It may be a dream that lingers, a thought that will not leave, an unusual hunger for change, or an unshakable sense that your current season is ending. You may not have all the details, but you know something is shifting. That is God warning you, preparing you, equipping you for what is ahead. He does not surprise His people without first placing hints in their spirit. And if you are discerning enough to notice those hints, then you must get ready, because what is coming is greater than anything you have faced before. Do not dismiss the restlessness in your heart. Do not ignore the inner voice telling you to rise higher. Do not silence the longing for something greater. These are not distractions. They are signals. They are like divine alarms, sounding within your spirit, urging you to wake up and pay attention. God is saying to you, I am about to do something new. Do not cling to the old. Do not be comfortable in the familiar. Something big is on the horizon. And when God declares something big is coming, no force on earth can stop it. But here is the challenge: when God warns you in advance, it is often in a season when nothing looks like change. You may still be in the same job, living in the same home, surrounded by the same struggles, carrying the same burdens. On the outside, everything looks ordinary. But inside, you know God is calling you to prepare for the extraordinary. This is where faith is tested. Will you trust what you sense in your spirit more than what you see with your eyes? Will you believe that God is setting the stage, even when the stage looks empty? Faith is not about waiting for visible evidence. It is about acting on God's invisible voice. When God tells you something big is coming, He is not just giving you information. He is calling you into preparation. Preparation is the proof of expectation. If you truly believe something big is coming, you will start adjusting your life to align with it. You will let go of the things that weigh you down. You will detach from people who drain your spirit. You will silence the voices of doubt and fear. You will cleanse your heart of bitterness and unforgiveness. Why? Because you cannot carry yesterday's baggage into tomorrow's blessing. God warns you in advance, so you have time to prepare, to purify, to position yourself for the next season. Think of it like a seed planted in the soil. When you place a seed in the ground, nothing looks different on the surface. The soil looks the same. The ground looks unchanged, but hidden beneath the surface, life is forming. Growth is happening. Roots are spreading. And suddenly, one day, the breakthrough comes, and everyone sees what was happening all along. This is how God works in your life. He tells you something big is coming while everything still looks ordinary, because He wants you to trust the unseen process. If you only believe, when you see, you will miss the beauty of the unseen work God is already doing. Many people miss the move of God because they dismiss the preparation. They want the blessing, but resist the process. They want the breakthrough, but ignore the warning signs. They want the promise, but avoid the pruning. But hear me clearly. When God tells you something big is coming, He is not just promising you a gift. He is shaping you into someone who can carry that gift. Without preparation, blessings can become burdens. Without growth, opportunities can destroy you. God loves you too much to give you something your character cannot sustain. That is why He warns you early, so you can rise to the level of the destiny He has prepared for you. You must also understand that when God announces something big is coming, opposition will often rise. The enemy fears what you are about to step into. He fears the influence, the impact, the testimony that will flow out of your breakthrough. So do not be surprised if distractions increase. Do not be shocked if obstacles appear. Do not be discouraged if people suddenly turn against you. The storm is often loudest right before the calm. The darkness is often thickest right before the dawn. The struggle intensifies because the enemy knows what God has already spoken. Something big is coming. Do not interpret opposition as a sign to quit. Interpret it as confirmation that you are close. When God speaks in advance, it is also an invitation for deeper trust. He is saying, do not wait until you see it to believe it. Believe it now. True faith does not celebrate only after the victory. It celebrates before the victory arrives. It dances in the silence. It rejoices in the waiting. It praises in the unknown. When you live like this, you are declaring, God, I do not just trust you when I hold the promise. I trust you when I only hear the whisper. That kind of faith pleases God, and it accelerates His work in your life. Do not measure the magnitude of what is coming by the size of your present resources. God never calls you to something that matches your strength. He calls you to something that requires His strength. If what is coming feels bigger than you, that is because it is. It is meant to stretch you, to elevate you, to draw you deeper into reliance on God. Do not shrink back because it looks impossible. Instead, rise with boldness, because the impossible is where God shows His power most clearly. If you could do it on your own, you would not need Him. But because it is greater than you, you will see His hand carry you in ways you never imagined. Perhaps right now you feel unqualified. You feel too broken, too small, too overlooked. But when God says something big is coming, He is not asking for your qualifications. He is not looking at your FutureSomething. He is looking at your heart. If your heart is willing, if your spirit is surrendered, if your faith is alive, then you are ready for what He is about to release. God has always chosen the unlikely to do the extraordinary. He takes the overlooked and makes them vessels of greatness. He takes the rejected and places them in positions of influence. So do not disqualify yourself when God has already qualified you. Listen carefully. God is not just preparing a blessing for you. He is preparing you for the blessing. Something big is not just about what you will receive. It is about who you will become. God is shaping your character, refining your heart, sharpening your vision. Every delay, every disappointment, every closed door has been part of the preparation. You thought it was punishment, but it was positioning. You thought it was rejection, but it was redirection. God has been arranging every detail, even the painful ones, to make you ready for the moment when everything shifts. And when that shift comes, it will come Suddenly, it may feel like nothing is changing for years. And then in a single moment, everything will turn. That is how God works. He spends time building in silence, then reveals in power. Do not despise the waiting. It is sacred. Do not curse the silence. It is preparation. Do not grow weary in the delay. It is the evidence that something big is indeed on its way. God is telling you in advance, because He does not want you to be unprepared. He wants you to live alert, watchful, expectant. He wants your faith sharpened, your heart cleansed, your spirit ready. When the moment comes, it will not be a time for hesitation. It will be a time for action. Those who are prepared will step into the fullness of what God has promised. Those who ignore the warnings will watch opportunities pass them by. Which will you be? Do not let fear rob you of what is coming. Fear will try to convince you that you are not ready, not capable, not worthy. But trust in God silences fear. Trust says, if God has spoken it, then God will also sustain me through it. Do not let doubt steal your anticipation. Doubt will try to tell you that you heard wrong, that nothing will change, that life will always be the same. But faith rises up and says, I know my God, and if He has whispered it to my spirit, I will hold on to it until it becomes reality. Something big is on the horizon. You cannot see all the details yet, but God is already arranging them. You cannot understand the full picture yet, but God has already painted it. Your role is simple. Trust Him. Prepare yourself and stay faithful. Because when the moment arrives, it will be too late to start preparing. The time to get ready is now. God is telling you in advance so that when the breakthrough comes, you will not be shocked. You will be ready to walk into it with confidence, knowing this is what He has been preparing you for all along. When God begins to stir your spirit with whispers of something coming, it is not a small matter. It is not a coincidence, nor is it just your imagination. It is divine preparation. God never speaks without purpose. If He places an uneasiness, an anticipation, or a stirring within you, it is because He wants you to lift your eyes higher and prepare your heart deeper. He knows what is ahead, and He loves you too much to leave you unprepared. That stirring is His signal, His warning, His encouragement. Something is about to shift. Many times, before the dawn breaks, the night grows darker. Before the harvest, the soil must be broken. Before the blessing, the heart must be tested. When you feel God is telling you in advance that something big is coming, you must understand that He is both warning you and encouraging you. He warns you so you are not caught unaware. And He encourages you so you can endure the process until the promise arrives. God is not trying to scare you. He is trying to strengthen you. When you sense the heaviness of waiting, when you feel the weight of transition, do not misinterpret it as failure. It is not that God has forgotten you. It is that He is preparing you for what eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. Think of the seed buried underground. For a time, it looks lifeless, unseen, hidden in the soil. But under the surface, there is life, growth, and preparation for a mighty sprout. God does the same with you. When He tells you in advance, prepare, for something big is coming. He is planting the seed of faith within your spirit so you can withstand the darkness of waiting until the light of fulfillment breaks forth. God tells you in advance because He wants you to stand in faith and not crumble in fear. Imagine walking into a storm unaware. It strikes you suddenly and you stumble. But imagine God whispering beforehand, "A storm is coming, but I am with you." That whisper changes everything. Instead of fear, you brace yourself. Instead of panic, you anchor yourself. Instead of despair, you hold on to the assurance that the storm is not the end. It is only a passage to the greater thing God has promised. Do not underestimate the importance of advance warning. God is giving you the advantage of preparation. He is saying, do not live carelessly. Do not drift with the crowd. Do not waste this moment. I am about to do something, but I need your heart awake and your spirit ready. Many lose the blessing not because God did not prepare it, but because they were not ready when it arrived. God is calling you now to sharpen your faith, deepen your prayer, and strengthen your trust, for the coming season requires a stronger version of you. Hear me clearly. When God tells you something big is coming, it is always bigger than your own imagination. It is not merely about material things, though He can bless you with abundance. It is not just about external changes, though He can open doors no one can shut. It is about transformation, elevation, and alignment with His divine will. God's plans for you are never small, and when He gives you a glimpse in advance, it is a sign that you are being invited into something beyond your human comprehension. This is why you must guard your heart in this season. Do not allow doubt to creep in. Do not let fear silence the voice of faith. When others around you cannot see what you see, do not be discouraged. God did not speak to them. He spoke to you. He did not place the anticipation in their spirit. He placed it in yours. You must carry it with reverence like a sacred flame. Protect it from the winds of negativity and the rains of doubt. Keep it alive with prayer, with worship, with unshakable trust in God's timing. And remember, God never rushes. If He tells you in advance, it is because His plan requires development. Do not mistake the delay for denial. The bigger the blessing, the deeper the preparation. The higher the calling, the stronger the foundation must be. You cannot build a skyscraper on shallow soil. Likewise, God will not build your destiny on a fragile foundation. He must deepen your roots, strengthen your character, and refine your faith before releasing the big thing He has spoken about. Do not resist this preparation. Welcome it. Embrace it. Every struggle, every tear, every test you face in this season is shaping you for what God has ahead. If He tells you something big is coming, it is because He believes you are worthy to receive it. But you must first prove that you can carry it. The weight of greatness requires strong shoulders of faith. The responsibility of blessing requires a disciplined heart. The honor of destiny requires an unshakable trust in God. Therefore, lift up your head. Do not live like someone with no direction. God has already told you something big is on the horizon. That means your story is not finished. That means your pain is not wasted. That means your faith is not in vain. Hold on with both hands, for the same God who spoke it in advance is the same God who will bring it to pass. When God declares in your spirit that something big is coming, it is not meant to be a casual thought you brush aside. It is a divine signal that demands your attention, your preparation, and your obedience. God does not waste words. Every whisper, every stirring, every divine nudge is intentional, carefully placed in your heart to align you with His greater plan. This is not about coincidence, this is about destiny. When God speaks in advance, it is because He is inviting you to step into partnership with Him, to walk with expectation and to train your eyes to see beyond the limitations of the present. Understand this: God sees the end from the beginning. He knows the outcome long before you take the first step. When He tells you that something big is coming, it means He has already completed in His plan. It is already settled in His divine timeline. The only question is whether you will align yourself in faith so that you can step into it. Faith is the bridge between His promise and your reality. Without faith, you will hear the promise but miss the fulfillment. But with faith, even when circumstances shout the opposite, you will hold firm because you trust that God cannot lie and cannot fail. One of the greatest mistakes people make is to hear the whisper of God, to feel that stirring in their soul, but then allow fear, doubt, or distraction to rob them of it. Do not make that mistake. If God has told you something big is coming, cling to it like your very life depends on it. Guard it as a sacred treasure. Speak it back to Him in prayer. Remind yourself daily that the God who spoke the heavens into existence is the same God who is preparing this promise for you. The waiting is not punishment, it is positioning. The delay is not denial, it is divine timing. The stretching you feel is not abandonment, it is preparation. Do not be surprised if your environment begins to feel uncomfortable when God is preparing you for something greater. Often, He shakes what is familiar so that you will not cling to it. He unsettles the ground beneath your feet so you will not plant yourself too deeply in the wrong place. He closes doors you thought would always remain open so that you will be forced to trust Him and not your own plans. This discomfort is not cruelty, it is mercy. God knows that if He does not unsettle you, you will miss the greater thing He has prepared. Think of the eagle with its young. When the time comes for the eaglet to fly, the mother begins to make the nest uncomfortable, removing the soft layers and exposing the thorns beneath. Why? Because if the eaglet remains comfortable, it will never stretch its wings. In the same way, when God tells you something big is coming, He may begin to strip away your comfort zones. Relationships may shift. Opportunities may change. Places where you once felt at ease may now feel unsettling. Do not resist it. This is God stirring your nest, preparing you to soar higher. When God speaks in advance, it is also a test of stewardship. What will you do with the word you have received? Will you bury it under fear, or will you water it with faith? Will you let others talk you out of it, or will you stand firm even when no one else believes? God is watching how you respond, because how you treat the promise determines whether you are ready to carry the fulfillment. The promise is not just a gift, it is also a responsibility. To be trusted with more, you must prove faithful with what you have now. Let me tell you this truth: the bigger the thing God is preparing, the greater the opposition you may face. The enemy of your soul does not want you to step into your destiny. He will attack your mind, trying to convince you that you imagined it. He will use people to discourage you, situations to wear you down, and delays to tempt you into giving up. But do not be deceived. Opposition is not a sign that you misheard God. It is often the clearest sign that you heard Him correctly. The enemy only fights what he fears. If the battle has intensified, it is because the blessing is near. This is why you must remain anchored in God and unmoved by circumstance. When the storms rage, let your heart be still, knowing that the one who controls the winds has already spoken a word over your life. When doubts creep in, silence them with the truth that God is faithful. When weariness tries to break you, remind yourself that those who wait upon God will renew their strength, mount up with wings like eagles, run and not be weary, walk and not faint. God is your strength, your shield, and your guarantee. And remember this: God is not a God of confusion. If He has told you something big is coming, He will confirm it. You will see signs. You will feel the alignment of events. You will witness doors opening at just the right time. Do not demand that He reveal every detail, for faith is not about seeing everything clearly. Faith is about trusting even when you cannot trace His hand. But He will give you enough assurance to keep you moving, enough light for the next step, and enough peace to quiet your anxious heart. So rise up in faith. Do not treat this word lightly. If God has told you in advance, it means He has chosen you to carry this promise. Live as if it is already on its way. Pray with confidence. Speak with expectation. Walk with assurance. Let your life reflect the certainty that the God who spoke this word is faithful to bring it to pass. The world may look at you and see nothing, but you know what God has whispered in your soul. Hold on to it, for in His perfect timing, it will come to pass, and all will know that the hand of God has been upon you. When God tells you in advance that something big is coming, it is not a message to be ignored. It is a divine summons to rise, to believe, to prepare your heart for the extraordinary. You are not standing in an ordinary moment. You are standing on the threshold of a season that can redefine your entire life. God is not playing with your emotions. He is building your faith. He is not teasing you with vague promises. He is calling you to trust Him more deeply than you ever have before. This is not about chance. It is about destiny. So I ask you, will you stand idle, doubting the whispers of God? Or will you rise in bold faith and act as if His word is already reality? Will you let fear silence your conviction? Or will you speak with courage that the God who holds the universe has already prepared your future? Will you shrink back into the shadows of uncertainty? Or will you walk forward with your head lifted, knowing that the one who spoke to you is the same one who will bring it to pass. This is your moment to anchor your soul in trust, to stop living small and start living with expectation, to refuse the language of defeat and embrace the posture of victory. God is telling you in advance so that when the day comes, you will not say, I was surprised, but rather, I was ready. He is giving you the dignity of preparation, the strength of anticipation, and the courage of faith. Do not live another day as though nothing is happening. Something is happening. Something is shifting. Something is moving in the unseen, and God Himself is aligning the pieces. Stand tall, hold fast, walk faithfully. Let your life declare, even before you see it, that you believe in the power of God's word. And when it comes, and it will come, you will stand as a living testimony that those who trust in God are never disappointed. Now go forth, not in fear, but in faith. Not in hesitation, but in expectation. Not in weakness, but in the strength of the Almighty. For God has already whispered it, something big is coming. Prepare your heart, ready your spirit, and dare to believe, because the future He has spoken over you is greater than anything you can imagine. Even when everything feels out of control, God is still in control. This is the truth you must anchor your soul to, because without it, you will drift into despair. With it, you will rise with strength that cannot be explained by human reasoning. Every person will face moments when control slips from their hands. No matter how powerful, how wise, or how prepared you think you are, there comes a time when life unravels before your eyes. The plans you made collapse, the doors you counted on shut, the relationships you leaned on break, and suddenly you are faced with a void you never expected. It is in those very moments that the temptation to fear is greatest. Fear tells you, you are alone. No one sees you. No one can help you. But trust in God silences that fear with one thunderous truth. God is here. God sees you. God holds you. God will never fail you. You may not control the chaos, but God controls the universe. And if God controls the universe, then your storm is not greater than His power. You must understand this with the deepest conviction. Trusting God is not an option in times of crisis. It is the very foundation of survival. Without trust in God, the winds of despair will tear you apart. Without trust in God, every disappointment will crush your spirit. Without trust in God, you will drown in your own confusion. But with trust in God, you can face the impossible with confidence. With trust in God, you can walk through fire without being consumed. With trust in God, you can hold your peace when the whole world shakes, because you know something greater than what your eyes see. You know that God is greater than every obstacle before you. Many people only trust God when life is smooth, when money is in their pockets, when health is in their body, when friends surround them, when everything is predictable. Then they say, I trust God. But true trust is not tested in comfort. True trust is tested in chaos. When the bills are due and you have no way to pay them, will you trust God? When your health fails and doctors give no answers, will you trust God? When those closest to you betray you, will you trust God? When every plan you made shatters into pieces, will you trust God? Trust is not born in ease, it is born in fire. And those who pass through the fire with unwavering trust will come out unshakable, unstoppable, unbreakable, because their confidence is not in what they see, but in the one who rules what cannot be seen. Do not be deceived by your emotions. Your feelings may betray you. Fear may rise like a flood. Anxiety may whisper that you are finished. Doubt may creep in like a shadow. But feelings do not determine truth. The truth is that God has not changed. God has not lost his power. God has not left the throne. God is not confused about your future. When you cannot see the way forward, God already has the path laid out. When you do not understand the purpose of your pain, God already knows the blessing hidden inside it. When you are weak and exhausted, God is still strong and mighty. Trusting God means leaning on his eternal stability when everything in your life feels unstable. There will be moments when the silence of God feels unbearable. You pray and nothing seems to change. You cry and no answer comes. You look for a sign, but the heavens seem closed. That silence is the testing ground of your trust. Will you still believe that God is working when you cannot see his hand? Will you still believe that God is near when you cannot feel his presence? Will you still believe that God